Are you ready to uncover hidden treasures hiding in plain sight? These old dirty Washington quarters may look like ordinary change, from rare minting errors to coins collectors that could make you rich overnight. Don't toss that dusty coin jar. What to look for? We're diving deep into the rarest, most valuable, and most unbelievable mistakes connected to the 1965-era Washington quarter dollar. And trust me, if you watch until the end, you'll discover an error so rare, so mysterious, and so insanely valuable that experts say you have a higher chance of being struck by lightning than ever seeing one in person, but you might still find one. The story begins during one of the most chaotic times in U.S. mint history. It's the year 1965, the very moment the mint stopped making silver quarters. The 1964 quarters, made of 90% silver, were suddenly replaced by the new copper nickel-clad coins. This switch caused panic across the country. People were hoarding silver coins, coins were disappearing from circulation, and the mint was under tremendous pressure to produce millions of the new quarters as fast as possible. But in this rush, a few unbelievable mistakes slipped through. And these mistakes are worth more money than anyone could have imagined. The most famous of all is the struck on a silver planchet. This error happened when the mint accidentally fed leftover 1964 silver blanks into the presses meant for the new clad quarters. The result, a coin dated 1965, but made of pure silver. These coins were never supposed to exist. Yet somehow, a small handful escaped into circulation. And today, collectors fight for these like rare treasure. Depending on condition, one of these can bring $20,000 to $50,000 and even more. The highest graded examples, flawless silver errors, have reached into six-figure territory. But the 1965 silver quarter isn't the only shocking mistake from that year. The mint's machines were recalibrating, switching metals, changing processes, and during the transition, a few 1965 quarters were struck on the wrong size blanks entirely. That includes the struck on a silver dime planchet. Imagine that a full quarter design squeezed onto a tiny dime blank. The coin looks strange, thin, missing most of the outer design, but it is one of the rarest transitional errors on record. These can easily hit $10,000 to $25,000, and high-grade examples can break, but we're only getting started. Because 1965 was also a year when the U.S. Mint was striking coins for foreign governments. These coins weigh differently, sound differently, and look slightly off compared to regular quarters. And when certified, they can bring $10,000 or more depending on condition, but even that isn't the rarest. One of the world's most mysterious transitional errors is the struck on a 1964 silver proof planchet. This planchet was meant for proof coins only. Proof blanks were polished, specially prepared, and designed exclusively for collectors. But somehow, one ended up getting struck with a regular 1965 die. This should have been impossible. It could easily command $50,000 to $100,000 or more. What if I told you that a simple, ordinary-looking 1966-era Washington quarter dollar, the same type of coin millions of people used every single day, yes, this really happens. And in the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly how and why. So stay with me until the very end, because the final error I'll reveal is so rare, so valuable, so unbelievably shocking that collectors say their chances of ever seeing one in person are close to zero. But your chances of finding one in circulation might still be possible. The year is 1966. America is still adjusting to the biggest coin change in decades. Only 2 years before, the U.S. Mint removed silver from all circulating dimes and quarters, replacing them with a new copper nickel-clad composition. This transition caused extreme pressure, coin shortages, production overloads, and confusion inside the mint. Machines were running non-stop. New metals were being tested, dies were being replaced, and hundreds of millions of new clad quarters needed to be produced. A normal 1966 quarter is worth face value, but silver planchet error. That coin can be worth $25,000 to $50,000 and more. High-grade silver errors have already sold for well over $75,000, and top population specimens could easily break six-figure numbers today. Some experts even believe that the best possible example, if one exists in gem mint grade, could hit or more at auction. Think about that, a coin meant to be worth 25 cents suddenly becoming more valuable than a luxury car, but that's just the beginning. The 1966 production year is filled with error types that almost feel impossible. And one of the most dramatic is the struck on a dime planchet. Yes, a full quarter design squeezed onto a tiny silver-colored dime blank. These coins are thin, small, missing much of their outer detail, and instantly recognizable once you know what to look for. These rare transitional errors can easily sell for $10,000 to $30,000, with sharply struck and high-grade examples reaching tens of thousands more. But here's where things get even more interesting. In 1966, the U.S. Mint was struggling to meet production demands. While the Mint was not officially striking foreign coins in that year, leftover foreign plankets and blanks from earlier years were still stored in Mint facilities, look different, or have odd colors. Once authenticated, these coins can bring $5,000, $8,000 to $12,000, depending on rarity and condition. But the true treasures of 1966 go even deeper. During this era, the Mint was transitioning its processes for the new clad metals. This created opportunities for die alignment mistakes, striking pressure errors, mechanical failures, and planchet selection disasters. One of the most dramatic results of this chaos is the double strike error. Dramatic double strikes from 1966 can command to $1,000 to $4,000 and $7,000, and if they include a perfectly clear date, the price skyrockets. The 1967 era Washington quarter dollar are some of the most shocking, rare, and valuable mistakes ever produced by the U.S. Mint. Today, we're going to uncover the history, the unbelievable errors, and the staggering values of these coins. And you need to stay with me until the very end, because the final error we reveal is so rare and so valuable, even the most seasoned collectors have never seen one in real life. The year is 1967. The Mint was in full swing producing billions of coins for an America growing faster than ever. By this point, silver had already been removed from circulating quarters for 3 years. The new copper-nickel-clad composition was fully in place, but this transitional period created chaos inside the Mint. Machines were under constant strain. Workers were dealing with leftover plankets from previous years, and high-speed presses were operating at maximum capacity to meet demand. In all this pressure, mistakes happened, errors that would later become some of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. history. One of the most famous and valuable errors is the struck on a silver planchet. Now, normally by 1967, silver was gone from circulation quarters. But due to leftover 1960 for silver blanks, a tiny number accidentally made it into the 1967 production run. These coins are pure silver, and they are extremely rare. Depending on condition, these silver planchet errors have sold for $8,000 to $25,000, and top-grade examples have reached well over, with the absolute rarest potentially touching to $100,000 or more. Imagine holding a coin worth more than a luxury car, a coin that was never supposed to exist. That's the magic of the 1967 silver quarter error, but that's only the beginning. The chaos of 1967 also created off-metal strikes, one of the most visually stunning errors. This includes the struck on a dime planchet, a full quarter design squeezed onto a tiny dime blank. The coin looks unusually small, thin, and distorted, yet collectors immediately recognize the value. These errors are so rare that they can easily sell for $10,000 to $30,000, with high-grade examples. The legendary error of 1967 is the struck on a 1964 proof silver planchet. Proof plankets were polished and prepared for collectors only. They were never meant for circulation, yet somehow, at least one made it through the presses. This is the pinnacle of rarity, a coin that should not exist, a coin that can potentially bring $50,000 to $100,000 or more. The story of this coin alone is enough to keep collectors awake at night, hoping that one day, a specimen will appear. Then there are off-center strikes from 1967. Some quarters were struck so far off-center that 30%, 40%, or even 50% of the design is missing. These coins are instantly recognizable and highly prized. Depending on the visibility of the date and the portrait, these off-center errors can bring anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, with rare high-grade examples exceeding that. The chaos also produced wrong Planchet strikes, including quarters struck on nickel blanks intended for Jefferson nickels. These coins have unusual weights and slightly distorted designs, making them valuable collector pieces. Depending on condition and rarity, they can fetch $3,000 to $10,000. That's the story, the mystery, and the staggering value of the most rare 1967-era Washington quarter dollar. A coin that captures the chaos, the mistakes, and the magic of a transitional year in U.S. coinage history. A coin that proves that even the smallest mistake can create the most valuable treasure. A coin that collectors dream about, fight over, and pay fortunes to own.